Hey guys, so this video is all about selecting the best possible flat iron. And as I told you guys before, I worked at a salon for quite a few years and we had a huge selection of flat irons that you could buy there. So I learned a lot through trial and error, my own use, other people's feedback of what is important and what's maybe not so important and what's actually worth spending your money on. Now, ideally, if you have about $120 that you're willing to spend towards a flat iron, I would say go for it. A lot of times people will kind of go a little bit cheaper, maybe in the $60 range, because they still want something high end, but those flat irons tend to break a lot sooner than ones that you spend a little bit more on. My favorite brand, which runs about $120 and varies a little bit, is the Hay or High, or however you want to say it. I have the copper one. It's the same as just the classic, the new stick it's called, but it's a 1-inch, and I would always recommend getting a 1-inch flat iron. That's point number one. A lot of people want thicker ones because they say they have more hair. Well, actually, you're gonna get the job done a lot faster with a 1-inch iron, and this is the reason. When you have a bigger plate, a thicker plate, the heating on that plate is not gonna be as even and consistent as it will be with a smaller plate. That means you have to go over the hair multiple times. Also, having a 1-inch plate is going to be a lot more versatile because you can curl your hair with it, you can kind of manipulate the way you use it. When you have a totally flat, thick plate, you kind of can only just grab it down on the hair. And those plates also tend to cause a little bit more smushing, which means your hair is overlapped, and instead of straightening it straight down, you're actually just kind of flattening it or smushing it together, but not really in a straight configuration. So the smaller the plates, the better, but 1 inch is a perfect size because it's big enough that you can do your whole head really fast, but it's small enough that you get a really even, consistent heating. The second thing I would say to look for is an adjustable heat setting. Now this one, I don't know if you'll be able to see, it goes up to 400 and it goes as low as, I think, 140. I really recommend getting a straightener with an adjustable heat setting because not everybody's hair is designed for one heat setting. Additionally, sometimes even with my hair, there are certain things I want a higher heat setting for and there's certain things I want a lower heat setting for. For example, if I'm curling my hair with a straightening iron, I like to use the highest heat setting possible because it really sets it, and because I'm moving it so quickly, I want it to be really hot when it gets on my hair because I'm just going to move it right off. So that's really important. Another thing that's important, and this one's kind of a given, but is a swivel cord, something that moves around. So if you are looking at a straightener, it seems great, but it doesn't have a swivel cord, you might want to rethink that. Another thing, which is often overlooked, and a lot of even higher end straighteners don't have this, but I think it's absolutely essential, is spring plates. Now, when you put your hair in between the plates, you see this one pretty much evenly matches up. And when I push down, it kind of gives a little bit and will squeeze onto the plate. If I put something in it, let's say like a hair tie, here, when I push down, it will cushion both sides of the hair tie because it has springs. So the springs on this end will kind of give in a little, so it will create like a flat surface. If you have one without these spring plates, it causes a lot more pulling and it kind of clamps unevenly onto the hair, so certain parts are going to be more cushioned than other parts, which will be more open, if that makes any sense. So a great way to test for spring plates, you push down and it moves. You see up there a lot, it's going to move. That's really important. So when you squeeze them together, if they don't kind of cushion like that and move a little bit, they don't have spring plates. And you're going to get snagging on your hair, and you're going to have to go over sections and do your hair in much smaller sections. With spring plates, you're going to get a much quicker result and less damage. So if a packaging for a straightening iron says that it's ceramic, and the ceramic iron is less than maybe $60, $70, it's a pretty sure bet that it's going to be ceramic coated. This means that there's some sort of a metal plate underneath and it's been painted with a ceramic solution or, some paint that's mostly ceramic. The problem with this alternative, even though it is ceramic directly on your hair, is one of the benefits of having a ceramic plate means that that plate's going to be really evenly heated. So you're not going to get certain spots on the plate that are higher temperature than others. And when you start plating ceramic things, that even heating idea kind of goes out the window and it doesn't really work anymore. It'll help a little bit, the plating, but it's really not the same thing as having a solid ceramic plate because when the heat comes from below, it really disperses it over the plate. And when you have spot heating, certain spots are going to get more heat than others, and you're going to have to go over your hair a bunch of times, and that's just kind of a disaster because it's bad for your hair and it takes a lot of extra time. So that's why I would really recommend going for something a little more expensive. It's going to be better for your hair. The plates are going to last longer. Ceramic plating is notorious for chipping off after even as little as 6 months. A lot of times they'll start cracking off from the edges, and once that happens, it's pretty much, you know, useless. You're pretty much done with your straightening iron. So if you are interested in keeping your hair healthy, I would really recommend a solid ceramic plate for those reasons, that it will more evenly heat the plate, so you won't get spot heating where some spots are really hot and will burn your hair, and you won't have to go over the same sections of hair multiple times, and you're going to keep your hair a lot healthier. Now, the tourmaline issue is kind of an interesting one. This is a newer addition relatively than the ceramic idea in straightening irons. Tourmaline crystals are allegedly known to, or this is how it's advertised, that they have a lot of negative ions, that they help cancel out frizziness in your hair, and they also are capable of infrared heating, which means they heat your hair from the inside out so you get less surface damage. Now, I don't know that I necessarily buy all of that because it is just a organic crystal compound that is mixed into the ceramic. So I don't know if it's capable of doing all those things. I think ultimately you're putting heat on your hair. It's going to damage your hair. You want to minimize the amount of damage it does by heating your hair at the lowest temperature you need to, and by not going over the same strands as often, and just practicing good, you know, good common sense about not straightening your hair like 5 times a day. The tourmaline, I don't believe it's like a quick cure-all, and some people I think that it is. And you'll find tourmaline in lower end ones and really expensive ones, and I think the difference there is just the concentration of the tourmaline crystals in the actual plates. So whether it be, you know, a lot of tourmaline or a little, that's kind of the difference there. But the idea behind tourmaline is that it's supposed to help protect your hair from more damage. I don't think it's a necessary, you know, ingredient in my plate personally for a straightening iron. I don't notice that it particularly straightens my hair better or makes it smoother. I've used both. I've had straightening irons with tourmaline, like high-end ones with tourmaline, and this is my favorite straightening iron, and it's not on the highest end of the high-end straightening irons. It's reasonable, and I know like $120 sounds not reasonable for an item, but when you consider I've had this one in particular for 3 years, and within that time I owned another one that broke in less than a year that was even more expensive than this one. This is a pretty solid product. A lot of people love the Chi straightening irons. Not a huge fan, and my only real reason for that is there's no adjustable heat setting, and also the plates are not spring loaded, so you get a lot more of that kind of snagging on your hair. Chi does make a really high-end one that's about $200. The Chi Nano, that I think it's called, that does have adjustable heat setting, but not really sold on that one either. I would take this one, which is less expensive, over it any day. So this is my recommendation, and that was kind of just my overall view. And I'll put a link to where you can buy this straightening iron in the sidebar. And if you guys have any other questions about any of this stuff, please let me know. I just wanted to kind of share this with you because I know this is kind of a daunting subject, and there's so much weird misinformation out there, and it's really hard to make a decision because there's so many, you know, when you listen to the advertisers, they're going to tell you that it does all these amazing things and why you should get it, and I just kind of wanted to share with you my personal experience and what I know about it. So this is just my opinion, and if you guys disagree, feel free and let me know below, and yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys all have a nice day. Bye!